Y'all can go back to the page. Taking Tom 24 and go watch the full video. They said they were detaining him about a suspicious person. They wouldn't let the father talk until afterwards. They had the K-9 unit come, sniff the boy, and then they finally got him out of handcuffs. But they never had reason to detain him in the first place. This is why I recommend y'all read the laws that's right in front of you. Read the laws that's right in front of you. Official Black Rose. The Constitution is a trust. It does not apply to you, family. You're not the name on the birth certificate, and the social is not yours. That's why it says on the back of the social they can take it at any given time. That's not your information. You're assuming. That's how they get jurisdiction over you. So were they in the right? Did they have a true person? If you go back and listen to the video, he's telling the father right here, we got a call about a suspicious person. We're detaining him because we got a call about a suspicious person being in the area. So again, what is deprivation of rights? Deprivation of rights is acting under culpable authority. That's assuming acting outside the Constitution. Anything outside the Constitution is null and void. There was no suspect. And he was let go. In Lansing, this is the police cruiser they're based out in. And this is what their statute says. This is what it says a person means. So what right do they have to detain that child? They had no right to detain that child. And William, I advise you go read Williams Evans. I'm gonna need you to hit them books, family. You gotta understand, the Constitution restricts on government. That doesn't apply to you, it applies to them. They swore an oath to it. How you gonna talk about contracts and don't use the contracts that they sign? They're doing business as. You probably never, have you seen the oath of office, family? You know what they look like? Do you know what an oath of office looks like? Because I can show you right now. It's all the same. You got to understand contracting. Everything applies the same. You got to understand contracting. So if they're operating under culpable authority, you got to be able to prove it. So again, oath of office. Are they deputized? Do they have an anti-bribery statement? And do they have an oath of office? Because if you understand it's based on contracts, they're doing business as. The state of is the corporation. The state of, so you have Texas state, and Texas state is the land, state of Texas is the corporation. Texas state is the land. Family, you can't teach me nothing. I'm already out here doing it. You can't teach me nothing new. Unrebutted affidavit stands truth in commerce. You can't show me nothing new. Look up, go to opencorporate.com. The state of Texas has an EIN number. You got an EIN. So what does it say? Your job is to uphold the United States defend the Constitution. That's it. Common law. That's it. Exactly. So how do you go after them in their personal capacity? They have to sign this contract, right? It's based on contracts, right? They have to sign this contract saying that they're going to do what? So if your job is to defend the Constitution, that means anything written outside this Constitution is null and void. If you've been deputized, you have an anti-bribery statement, and you have an oath of office, anything in the Constitution is null and void. As a matter of fact, I can pull it up for you. You know what I'm saying? We like proof on live, so let me go ahead and give it to you real quick. I'm going to give you the handbook. I like when people come in the live, man. Go ahead, get your chairs out, come have a seat. All right, So the county sheriff's handbook, let me get the bond again. So this is one of the deputies. We gonna come on, get this work real quick. So you have they've been deputized by the sheriff, deputization, anti-bribery statement, oath of office. Now let's dive into the county sheriff's handbook. So how do you prove deprivation of rights under colorable law? Well, what does their handbook say? We're gonna go into it. All right, it says, the law of the land consists of the Constitution written by we the people under the authority of God to empower, control, and restrict government servants. Common law, which is written by God in the hearts of men, and constitutional statutes, which are written by legislators. Any statute or code outside of the aforesaid and therein is null and void. So anything written outside of what you're supposed to defend is null and void. So do state statutes apply to a natural living man or woman? Let's see. We're going to pull up Texas statute. Give me 1 second. What does Texas say a person is? So if they tell me, a person failure to identify in Texas, I'm going to pull up what their statute says. It doesn't apply to me. An individual, corporation, association. Oh, I got a person failure to identify. I got a person failure to identify. You ain't talking about me. Do you have any sworn affidavits that verify that I'm a person? You're missing the whole thing, family. You gotta understand the difference between public and private. Public and private. If you don't understand the difference between public and private, that's on you. I can't teach you that. It ain't my job to do that. So again, like I was just saying, you just came in here talking whoop. I just showed you. What else you want me to show you? If they're operating in a personal capacity, it's their job to be deputized in the state, have an anti-bribery statement so you know they're not a bad police officer. No, you're not a person. Look at what the definition of a person is. So what is the definition of a person? This is Texas. The definition of a person in Texas. Texas definition says an individual. If you look up the definition of an individual means a corporation. So corporations can only do business with corporations. A man can only do business with another man. Same thing with the... This is where I'm gonna get y'all right now. So people be saying they be teaching and know this information. We're gonna go ahead and get them quiet right now. Let's go ahead and get them quiet right now. And Joe, you can vouch for me. Let's go ahead and get this work in, right? So let's get it in. This is an example. I blacked out all the information. Let me go ahead and teach. Let me get this work in. So it says, now comes the state of Texas by and through her attorney. So the state of Texas is her. Okay, Roger, I got you. All right, Your Honor. Can you direct the prosecutor to have the state of Texas take the stand so they can be sworn in and subject to cross-examination? Because if you're going to exercise your Sixth Amendment right and face all your accusers and evidence against you, there's no hearsay. So a sworn affidavit stands truth in commerce. If everything you're saying is true and factual, I need you to have a sworn affidavit by the state of Texas. So again, everything's civil or criminal. Civil or criminal. If it's a civil issue like DV, like domestic violence, things like that, right, there's between two parties. If someone's bringing claim against you, they said that you've harmed them, there has to be a sworn affidavit under the penalty of perjury that everything that you're saying is true and factual. Can you direct the prosecutor to submit an affidavit saying that these claims are true and factual? The prosecutor is not going to sign an affidavit. And if you know Trinzi versus Pagliaro, either their attorney's going to be an attorney, he can't be a witness. You can't be both. How many times y'all see these pleadings? Now comes the state of Texas. This is a corporation. Corporations can't speak. Corporations can't sign. Corporations cannot speak and corporations cannot sign. So what's giving them legal authority to be able to bring you to the courtroom? What's giving them authority to be able to stop you? She's missing it, fam. You're still missing it. documentation do they have? Come on now. You're still missing it, family. You're missing it. Even with your signature, think about contracts. There has to be two parties to a signature, right? There has to be two parties to a signature to enforce it. There has to be written two signatures, right? Both parties to a contract have to be able to sign. Matter of fact, let's get into it, man. Y'all want to go into some accounting real quick? We're gonna talk about it. Let's go into it real quick. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up some information for you. So let's think about mortgage contracts, because y'all want to talk about it. Beneficiaries of the social. What documentation do you have to prove that? Because I don't do hearsay over here. But we're going to get into it. So we're going to talk about contracts. We're going to go into foreclosure. Man. We're going to talk about contracts. Let's do that right now. Y'all in the class right now. Let's get this work. We're going to talk about the mortgage contract, but to dive in deeper, you're going to have to join these classes. So let's go into it. The mortgage note is the money the bank uses to buy your property in the foreclosure. We're going to go in detail with it. By demanding the bank fulfill the contract and not change the currency, the bank must deposit your second promissory note to create the checkbook money to end the fraud. You guys signed a deed of trust. You guys signed the note saying that they received. Come on now. You're only signing a contract saying that you're going to pay somebody back. That's a certificate of indebtedness. But do you have a contract that says that they loaned you anything? Can they verify that they gave you $1? Can they verify that they gave you any money? When a bank says they give you credit, they mean they credited your transaction account, leaving you with the presumption that they deposited other depositors' money in the account. If you go to apply for a loan tomorrow and say, hey, I want a $5,000 loan from Navy Federal, where does the money come from? The banks are only made to hold deposits. It's basically a fraudulent transfer of securities. Banks can't loan money or credit. So think about this. The bank does not loan money. The bank merely switches the currency. The alleged borrower created the money or currency by simply signing the mortgage note. The bank does not sign the mortgage note. How many people have their mortgage? Are you? I'm just asking the question. How many people have their mortgage note and it's only signed by you? So that means only you have first-hand knowledge. They can't deny it either. All y'all. I mean, I'm just asking the question. Go look at your mortgage note today. I'm just saying. I'm just asking the question. So again, if it's based on contracts, can they verify that they loaned you any money? Can they put that under the penalty of perjury? Is that chief financial officer going to sound an affidavit saying that they loaned you anything? Because think about it, family. A mortgage company cannot foreclose against you unless they can prove that there's a valid contract. Period. If you understand mortgages, a mortgage company cannot foreclose against you unless they can prove that it's a valid contract. Is it a valid contract if they never performed them in the beginning? Did you really default against your mortgage if you can prove that they never fulfilled their obligation to loan you money in the first place? Think about that. How can I force you to pay me back if I never paid you in the first place? Y'all would let me do you like that? If it's me versus you in the courtroom right now, and I'm like, yeah, he owe me $100,000 for that house, and I don't have no documentation to prove that I loaned you $100,000 for that house, but y'all let the banks do it. Let's go. Let's keep going. The mortgage note acts like money. So what happens with that mortgage note? When you apply for that mortgage loan, they deposit that mortgage as an unregistered security, and in return, they get Federal Reserve notes. I'm just asking. No money was loaned to legally fulfill the contract for the bank to own the mortgage note. So how do they get interest in your property by the deed of trust. The deed of trust has 3 signatures. It has your signature. It might have the transmitting utility, who might be like the agent for the retail company or the realtor company, and then they're going to have the notary. So is the deed of trust valid if the note is fraud? If the note is, I guess you could say, void in facto because they never performed? And the deed is really just an offer anyway. Just a mortgage note. Is that true? You created currency by simply signing the mortgage note. The mortgage note has value because of the lien on the property and because of the fact that you are to repay the loan. You give it life with your signature. Everything is based off consent. So when you guys are sending your negotiable instruments, your bills of exchange, your international bills of exchange, I need you to understand these people do not have to accept your instrument. But you can enforce that ground to get your discharge or to get your remedy. Because if you can prove that they never give you anything in the beginning, again, they fraudulently record. It's a fraudulent conversion of property. It's supposed to be private property and it's bought with credit, but they convert it over to the state's benefits because you're paying taxes on it. Property taxes. Again, this is not legal advice. This is educational information. The bank withdrew your money, which they deposited without telling you. And I'm gonna pause this right here. Look at the very top. It says you created by simply signing the mortgage note. And I'm gonna bring some more life and detail to that. I'm getting ready to pull up the affidavit of Walker Todd, and I'm gonna break down Walker Todd's background, and he's gonna be able to bring life to this, so it's not no hearsay, no sovereign citizen gabble. No. Give me 1 second. And the affidavit of Walker Todd you can find on Google. So this is the affidavit of Walker Todd. You can find this on Google. And if you scroll down to page 9, it's going to tell you. So I'm going to show you too. Oh, let me go back. So if you're wondering who is Walker Todd, Walker Todd has over 20 years experience working for the Federal Reserve Bank. So if y'all wondering, did the mortgage company really loan you money? No, they didn't. Actually, if you can prove it, everything's abandoned until you bring claim to it. So Walker Todd has over 20 years of experience working for the Federal Reserve Bank in Cleveland and New York. So he breaks down how the money works with the Federal Reserve. So if everyone's saying they got all this money at the Treasury, this man gonna break it down for you and how everything happens. And if you scroll down, I believe it's on page 9, he's gonna tell you, boom, 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 boom. Hold on, here we go. 1 second. Dun, dun, dun. Like I think of page 9. Okay, so he goes over the commercial banking lending process is similar to that of a thrift. Come on now, here we go. This would show that the bank received the customer signed promise to repay as an asset, thus monetizing the customer's signature and creating on his books a liability in the form of the demand deposit or demand liability of the bank. Okay, so this sounds very similar to what we just read, right? It says you created money by simply signing the mortgage note. And we're going to go back to the affidavit of Walker Todd, and it says this will show that the bank, hold on now, this will show that the bank received the customer's signed promise to repay as an asset, thus monetizing the customer's signature and creating on his books a liability in the form of a demand deposit or other demand liability of the bank. So did they give you anything in equal exchange? Because you gave them a signature and they're able to monetize off that. Were you given full disclosure throughout this process? So how are you going to claim your interest? Do you have a document? Think about it. You have the paperwork right in front of you. You have everything you need right in front of you as far as that mortgage note. And I'm gonna go a little deeper too. I'm gonna pull up another thing that's gonna bring up Gene Keating. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull it up. All right, so let's talk about accounting. Like, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna talk about it. It is all accounting, whether it's banking, civil, or criminal court. We're gonna go into the G. Come on, let's get into it. It's all colorable. Let's go. It's going to talk about mortgages in here, securitization. Oh, wait. Let's stop right here. If you give a bank a promissory note, they are required to give you a cash receipt. Oh, okay. going to do again. If you give a bank a promissory note, they are required to give you a cash receipt, because normally when you deposit something, you're supposed to get it back, right? You're supposed to get it back, right? Normally when you deposit something, you're supposed to get a receipt back. Did you ever get a receipt? No, I don't think you did. They owe you that money under the recoupment or assets. If you take the receipt back, they should give you the sum of money. Let's go to the all-balance book. Come here, let's get into it. UCC 3-306, there cannot be a holder in due course of a promissory note after they deposit it. Oh, whoa. I hope y'all got y'all pens out. So holder in due course after they deposited, this deposit as an unregistered security. This will show that the bank, come on now. This will show that the bank received the customer's signed promise to repay as an asset, monetizing the customer's signature and creating on his book. Come on. These are all the UCCs are all the same. All the same information. Same information. You tender a note to the bank to stop the foreclosure. The agent at the bank claims he never got any payment. The agent only sees the receivable side of the books. He's being honest. It is up to us to make the claim for them to look at the other set of books. You have to learn how the system works so that you can explain it to them. Come on, man. It's all about principles in accounting. When you sign a promissory note to create the mortgage with the bank to buy a house, at closing, they already sold your note to the warehousing institution. You gotta be able to state your claims. Gotta be able to state your claims. And let's get it understood. Are they the holder in due course of the original note? We just read that they're not the depositors, right? And then under UCC 3-309, you have to show 4 elements to claim a lost instrument. So if they're going to be able to bring claims against you, that they're the holder in due course, that they're the original creditor, they have to have the original contract with full inspection. So 1, were you in possession at the time it was lost? No. You have the right to enforce of the note? No. They don't have any rights to start understanding accounting. Understanding accounting and contracting is all the same. Understanding elements of a contract. Understanding elements of a contract. So every time y'all get y'all presentments, and this is just little cliff notes, man. Like I said, y'all can get more. We can get more in depth in class, but you have honor acceptance, honor conditional acceptance, refusal for cause without dishonor. You're just gonna go down the pipeline. How does all this apply and how does all this work? You get a presentment in the mail. You can either accept it all the way, do a negotiable per instrument, or you could do a conditional acceptance. And you're still going in with good faith and clean hands, because if you're doing a conditional acceptance, you're saying, hey, I'll pay you whatever I lawfully owe you if you can provide me a contract signed by both parties. Because if it's only one signature on the contract, that means there's only one person with first-hand knowledge. And doesn't it have to be the meaning of the minds for valid contract? What makes a valid contract? So you have offer, which is the application. You accepted it. So then you have acceptance through what? You have acceptance through words or deeds of performance. But what's missing, the most essential element, is mutuality. Because there has to be a meeting of the minds that both parties agree to the terms and conditions. If there's only one signature, there's still an offer on the table. That means both parties didn't acknowledge the agreement. So again, it's educational purposes only. If they repo your automobile, do they have legal standing to do so? What contract is signed that gives them the legal authority to do so? Because they never acknowledge that if you defaulted on whatever, they have authority to take the automobile back. But can you prove it? Do you know how to contract with the CFO? Everyone keeps asking about the indentured trustee. The indentured trustee is the CFO, basically. He operates as a treasury for the department. OprahCorporate.com is going to give you a lot of information too as well. Let's think about it. Let's think about a contract. You can make a contract on a piece of toilet paper, but both parties have to agree to the contract. If I agree to cut your yard today, and you sign that you're going to compensate me after I complete the job, that's a valid contract. But how many people are signed? How many parties entered into your contract? If you don't have another party in your contract, that means you're the only one who has first-hand knowledge. And this is why we ask: do you have a sworn affidavit to submit into the record? Is it really your signature, and do they have the original? This is why I teach on the ink too, because a lot of people sign in black ink and you can't differentiate between if it's the original or a copy. You can copy your signature and place it on a fraudulent document. Is it originally your signature? And again, still, it takes two people to tango. Offer, acceptance, and consideration. A meeting of the minds. There has to be a meeting of the minds during a contract. Is the other party of age to contract? Are they competent to contract? How are you going to be able to know that? Signing under duress. All you have to do is sign UCC 1-308. And again, it's educational purposes only. What does UCC 1-308 mean? UCC 1-308 means you are not to be compelled to comply to any contract that you didn't enter into knowingly or willingly. And you have the right to reserve your rights. Because if they're not giving you full disclosure, there isn't any equal consideration under the law. And all are equal under the law. And if you understand the Constitution, you have the unlimited ability to contract. So let's think about this, what the live was about earlier. Let's think about this kid right here, right? So we're all basing this stuff on contracts, two parties to a contract. So this kid was going to the dumpster, as you can see right behind that police cruiser, to take the trash out from his home. His father was back in the corner asking what was going on, and they wouldn't let him come to his son. And they said because they're doing an investigation. And this happens on a daily basis, y'all. This happens a lot to us, to be honest. It doesn't matter what color you are. You could be taking the trash out. You could be Trayvon Martin leaving the store with a pack of Skittles and sweet tea. It can happen to anybody. But this is what I want to wake you up to. You don't have to fuss and fight. Just stay in honor. Go in there with good faith and clean hands. They're saying they have a suspicion. They had a call about a suspicious person, right? So we're not going to do no guessing here. So I went and did a little digging. So I looked up at the police cruiser, and I seen the police cruiser had Lansing Police. And Lansing is based in Michigan. So same cruiser. So I found the cruiser. And then I went to their statutes, and I put up what the statute means. So this is what the definition of a person means. So you got to call about a suspicious person. And a person means an individual, business association, a state, public corporation. Does it say anything in those statutes that say? So again, they're enforcing this on us, saying that, hey, I can have you detained because I'm doing an investigation. We got to call about a suspicious person, so I need you to be quiet. We're told to just comply. Right? But if we're going by the law, what does the law say? The law says a person is this. You aren't even talking to me, so why do you have me detained? Wouldn't this mean it's an unlawful detainment? What is colorable law? Colorable law means, come on now, you got to read between the lines with this stuff. How many people go through this on a daily basis? We got to call about a suspicious person. This is what a person means. For that state, this is what the person means. If that was my child, I would have said, get my son out of handcuffs. Because you said you got to call about a suspicious person. So I'm going to need your name. I'm going to need your badge number, because this is a deprivation of rights under culpable authority. What is deprivation of rights under culpable authority? What is deprivation of rights under culpable authority, y'all? And can you prove it? Can you prove that the cop was operating under a culpable authority? Of course you can, because the incident report is going to say what the stop was for. But I'm gonna give y'all some juice on the live real quick to kind of give you a better understanding. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up the laws out of the county sheriff's handbook. 18 USC 241, I believe, was the code. So here we go. We're gonna talk about it real quick. We're gonna talk about it. So this is 18 USC 242. So it says deprivation of rights under a colorable law. Whoever, under color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulations, customs, willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, district of deprivation of rights, privileges, immunities secured by the Constitution. Wait a minute, y'all be talking about getting bonds and oath information. I know what they look like. I'm really out here doing this. Some people don't want to go into the courtroom. because they don't know how to operate in the courtroom. They don't know the difference between public and private. They don't read rules of civil procedure, and they don't know rules of criminal procedure. So let's keep going. Laws of the United States order different punishment, pains, penalties. Okay, so what does it mean by a colorable law? The appearance or semblance without the substance of legal right. So what does that mean? It appears that you might be a person, but are you really a person? It appears to be that you might be a person, but are you a person? And the incident report is going to say, yeah, I was detaining him. I was detaining your son because I got a call about a suspicious person. Is it for everyone on the live right now? Can y'all tap the screen and share the live, man? Because we need people to tap into this, man. Because how often are we going to have to keep getting handcuffed? And again, this is not to cause an uproar. This isn't anything like that. This is to educate our people, especially if you're a melanated man. If you're a melanated king, you need to be sharing this live because you need to understand this information so that you can make it home. A lot of us just want to make it home. I'm melanated. I just want to make it home. I have run-ins with the patrolmen, but I just want to make it home. We just want to make it home. Look at his face. Look at his face. He was scared to death because you said you got a call about a suspicious person. So let's think about it, y'all. Who controls the schools? The schools were created by the bankers. The bankers needed a way to control the population. So if y'all have never read Behold a Pale Horse, I recommend you read Behold a Pale Horse because it has a great information in it. It talks about a lot of stuff that was from like 1940 that's going on right now. Arbitration is easy to win too as well. Unrebutted affidavit stands truth in commerce. So how often are we just sitting outside or we just coming together? We're not arguing. A lot of us just want to make it home. How often are there traffic stops and it's like, oh yeah, I have a person, failure to identify. And look at what the police cruiser says. It says Lansing. So we're going to pull up the statute that they said they have authority, right? We have to comply to their statutes, acts, and regulations. Or do we? Because they said they had a suspicious call about a suspicious person. But if I'm looking at the definition that gives you that authority, you're not talking about my son. You're not talking about me or anybody. Who are you talking about? It says a person means a business association, state, other government, governmental subdivision, public corporation, public authority, estate, trust, two or more persons. And if you're curious, an individual means a corporation as well. An individual means a corporation as well. It doesn't mean a man or woman. Does it say man or woman? If it meant man or woman, I would think it would say man or woman, right? Behold a pale horse. I'm just asking for everyone on the live, tap the screen. So what do they tell you in school? A noun is a person, place, or thing. And you started assuming that you're a person. Whose fault is that? Who taught you that? Who taught you was a person? I didn't teach you that. Don't come to the people who's trying to put y'all on talking about we scamming. We the ones trying to wake y'all up. When y'all send your kids to school assuming that they're a person, that's a mindset. That's a mindset, right? Everybody has a computer in their hand. YouTube is a free school. How many people go to the law library? How many people read rules of civil procedure? How many people read the terms and conditions before they update their iPhone? How many of y'all read before y'all do this stuff? When you sign, and think about this. When you said that the United States is a corporation, everyone knows this. The United States is a corporation, and under this corporation, you have sister companies. The sister companies are the Department of Health, the Department of Transportation. The Department of Transportation is a corporation, just like Walmart. So the Department of Transportation is the reason why you're paying taxes, registration, the reason why you're paying insurance. And this is Michigan, so what gives them the right to detain this? And this is why I had to come on here and do this live, because I'm tired of hearing my people say just comply. Why are we complying with rules that don't apply to us when God gave us our rules? Give to Caesar what is Caesar's and give to God what is God's. But y'all don't want to hear me though. Give to Caesar's what is Caesar's and give to God what is God's. So listen. Think about the programming. At an early age, you were taught that you were a person. At a very early age, you were taught that you were a person. You go inside that courtroom. How are you going to get your remedy? You got them thinking you're a person. All the statutes, codes, acts, and regulations, and this is where it ties in. Let me give you something else. I'm gonna pull up Texas, right? This is Texas definition of a person. This is Michigan. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up Texas. And I'm gonna show you something else after I pull up Texas. I'm gonna pull up Texas real quick, and then I'm gonna show you all this is Texas. Right? So this is Texas definition of a person. And then I'm going to show y'all a sign that we see on a daily basis, right? So in the state of Texas, it says an individual, a corporation, association, limited liability company, right? We understand this is in Texas. So I'm going to pull up this sign that's outside the bank that we normally see all the time. And guess what? This is on there. It says person. The devil puts stuff in plain sight, so you're not aware of it when you see it. So don't want to say a person can't go in there. It ain't talking about you, is it? Is it talking about you, y'all? We just saw the definition of what the statutes mean, or what the police officers use, what the prosecutor use. Are these laws talking about you? Is this making sense? Are you starting to see? Are your eyes open yet? Or is it not making sense? We just saw what the definition of a person was. Is it making sense now? Is it making sense now? And ladies and gentlemen, this is no jibber jabber. I'd actually be out here. This is the county's finest. I had him run my passport card. I got my private tags on my automobile. I had him come and look at the tag. He came and looked at my plates. I gave him my passport card. And no issues. I don't have run-in with police officers like that. They don't give me no run-ins. Are you a corporation? So this could be your son. This could be your daughter. Hey, can you go take the trash out? Take the trash out real quick, please, before we leave the house. Oh Lord, here comes Aqua. No, sir, so Aqua, would you want to come up and would you put that under the penalty of perjury? Would you sign an affidavit admitting what you're saying? She said that sign applies to us. Does that sign apply to us, y'all? Because this is what the definition means. The definition means a person is an individual. An individual means a corporation. Person means an individual, business association, state. Jack from TikTok. You can go right on Google and type it in. What does it mean in your state? Whatever state you're in. What does the definition of a person mean? And pull it right up. You see what it means. Pull it up. Check out what it means. So again, do you have to comply? If they're telling you, so let's think about this, y'all. If this is your child right here with this face, he's scared for his life. Your daughter's scared. She's going to take the trash out. Look at your son. He's just sitting there wanting to take the trash out, and they around him. Several different police officers. Yeah, if y'all want to see the full video, I think it's TV King, King Tom 24. Go check the video out. They eventually took the kid out of handcuffs after they had the canine unit come. The canine unit came, searched for drugs, and it turns out it was the wrong description. But you're detaining him because you said you had probable cause. We had probable cause to have him in handcuffs. We got a call about a suspicious person in the area. Come on, Healing. Let's think about it, right? Isn't that what they say? He's being detained right now because we got probable cause. What is your probable cause? We got to call a suspicious person in the area. So the definition that you're using by your statute, their statute says a person. This is the statute that they're using. Suspicion is not a crime either, but go even deeper. You're telling me that you had a call about a person. A person means a business. It means a Walmart. You got a call about a suspicious Walmart walking around. It doesn't mean you. So isn't that acting under colorable law? And you need to read Black's law definition. You need to read the laws that the lawyers are using. This is what I mean. Don't do your due diligence. You probably think you're an individual. It sure is. You see people get spanked all the time. You got people who win in court cases. Why? Because they dismiss their case because there's no legal standing in the courtroom. No legal standing in the courtroom. So while you think it's comical, there's people out here dismissing their court cases because the cop never had legal authority to bring charges in the first place. People are getting warrants dropped because they never had legal standing to charge them in the first place. That's just up to you. Are you going to read and do the information yourself, or are you going to be spoon-fed? Because you've been spoon-fed your whole life. Thank you, Abby, because some people don't want to read. You can meet him the entire life. All crimes or even commercial, it still requires a contract. You guys got to understand how to piece all this stuff together so that you can start getting your remedy. And that's what I'm trying to do, man. I'm trying to give y'all a foundation. So when you go into the courtroom, you can hit them with their stuff, their material, their source. Even go deeper. Think about you're either a man or a woman, because you got to go deeper and understand the natural person too. Do you have to? Yes, I would. If you don't have to, if you do, again, this is not legal advice. If you want legal advice, please seek an attorney. But what I would recommend is if you're given a public defender, you can use him to the best of your ability and give him instructions. So he'll basically be your mouthpiece in court. He'll be your mouthpiece in court. And if you don't have an attorney, you can get the tools you need so that you can be successful on your own. Because where you guys will get your remedy from is, think about this. These corporations have to hire an attorney. You're your own attorney, in fact. You're the only one who has firsthand knowledge. Who else has firsthand knowledge? Who else has firsthand knowledge? Who else has firsthand knowledge? If everyone's saying an attorney can testify in court, we're going to go ahead and eliminate that right now. Attorneys cannot testify in court. Can attorneys testify in court, y'all? Can somebody answer that question? Are attorneys allowed to testify in court? Put a 1 if they can. Put a 2 if they can. For everybody on the live, if an attorney can testify in court, put a 1 if yes and put a 2 if no. So again, let's go. Put a 1 if yes, if 2 if no. If an attorney can testify in court, let's see how many smart people we got out there. Let's see how many people we got waking up out there. All right, let's see how many smart people we have out there. Let's see how many smart people we have out there. All right, let's look what it says. An attorney for the plaintiff cannot admit evidence into the court. He's either an attorney or a witness, and this is case law. This is case law. So, Your Honor, can you direct the prosecutor? Can you swear the prosecutor in, please? Because we don't want any hearsay in the courtroom. Direct the prosecutor to be sworn in and subject himself to cross-examination. Or will the attorney sign an affidavit under the penalty of perjury that everything he's stating is factual to the record, Your Honor? Because we don't want any hearsay. We're going affidavit for affidavit, and an unrebutted affidavit stands truth in commerce. So I'm going to ask this question again. Can an attorney testify in the courtroom? So let me get this up real quick. So this is why you guys need to get into class, because I can go more in depth, right? I can go more in depth. So it says, now comes the state of Texas by and through her attorney. So the attorney is representing the state of Texas. But it says, an attorney for the plaintiff cannot admit evidence into the court. He's either an attorney or a witness. And if you understand the attorney's job and their attorney rule, an attorney rule of misconduct prohibits them from engaging in conduct of dishonesty, fraud, deceit, or misrepresentation. So, Your Honor, can you direct the prosecutor to submit a valid contract between the state of Texas and her that gives them legal standing to be in the courtroom? The prosecutor gonna start sweating because how can a corporation sign a contract with you? The state of Texas is a corporation, Your Honor. I don't believe that the attorney is representing a real client. Let's go into impersonation, false representation of a public officer. Well, here we go. The state, whoever the attorney is stimulating a legal process by filing on behalf of a plaintiff without legal standing using an alias. Yo, come on, y'all. Let's under a colorable law. They don't have any standing in the courtroom. They don't have any standing in the courtroom. So an attorney for the plaintiff cannot admit evidence. So for repossessions, foreclosures, how is the attorney going to represent the bank? So you have an attorney representing the mortgage company. The mortgage company is a corporation. I'm going to say it again. The attorney for the attorney is representing the mortgage company. How can the attorney represent the mortgage company if there's not a valid contract? So how can an attorney represent the mortgage company? An attorney for the plaintiff cannot admit evidence into the courtroom. So how are they going to submit the invoices, petitions, claims? It's all hearsay unless there's an affidavit attached to it. And this is why I say it's time to tap into the class. Y'all need evidence to bind these people. You need evidence in your favor to bind these corporations because it goes affidavit for affidavit. So you want to know what a summary judgment is, right? What is a summary judgment? This is where I'm going to get my students at with their remedy. Summary judgments are typically the same in every state. So a summary judgment is a motion in Texas, is a legal document filed by a party in a lawsuit asking the court to decide the case without a trial. The motion must be supported by evidence that shows there's no genuine issue of material fact and that the motive is entitled to the movement is entitled to judgment as followed by material law. So let's dive into it. So how many of y'all can get these? So let's think about what that just said. It says you're trying to get a summary judgment, right? So what evidence do you have that says that you should be given a summary judgment? Go to the link tree. And I am a notary, so I understand the administrative process very well. So it says, petitions for entry of default by notary. You have 2 notary seals on an unrebutted affidavit stands truth in commerce. You verify that you responded back to the notary with the affidavit saying that you have valid claims in this courtroom. Your Honor, there is no controversy. We don't have any controversy, Your Honor. Can we go ahead and motion for a summary judgment? They already acquiesced to the agreement. This is what y'all need to get. Y'all don't have, you're getting dismissed from your case because you failure to state a claim or relief can be granted. You can state your claim with affidavits. You sent them a notice of demand, a conditional acceptance. They didn't respond. They acquiesced. Now you're going into the courtroom with some evidence because it's affidavit for affidavit. You're eliminating hearsay. When the attorney talks in the courthouse, is he sworn in first? Or are you just letting him talk? Are you objecting? Do you have any documentation to submit into your favor to support what you're saying? Because you can say violation of the Truth in Lending Act all day. Oh, they violated the TILA. They violated this. They didn't do this. Can you prove it? Can you prove it? Do they respond back to you? There's different styles of affidavits that's out there, but y'all got to make sure that y'all binding these people to these contracts. Get them in agreement with you. You have the unlimited ability to contract. Unlimited ability to contract. I'm going real fast because, again, this is going to be done in the classroom setting. The class is $275. There's 4 days in this class. $275, 4 days of good information that's going to be able to give you life provide you with some good energy, because yes, you can use your negotiable instruments, you can clean up your credit, but if you got somebody bring a suit against you, you need to be able to stand firm and go back at them. But again, I understand it takes time, so come into the classroom. We're going to be teaching you how to live under your business, how to live in the private. You can operate on your business. You can get power, water, lights, all that good stuff in your business name and move like you want to do. And guess what? Nothing's attached to you. You're no longer using the social because you're operating under your business. The social is a tracker. It does. It takes some time for this knowledge. But with the foundation I give, you'll be able to make a solid decision on what you want to do. What's the best outcome for you? So again, the class is $275. We're getting ready to start those classes up. These are the classes. We're going over private tags, affidavits, notary presentments. September 8th, 9th, 15th, and 16th. Make sure y'all get into these classes. Living under your business. You're going to want to know how to set up your business the correct way. You're not going to need LegalZoom. You want to get your kids set up in your business. You can go to the link tree. Go to my link tree and sign up for the class. I already have it in there in the link tree. It's $275. We're going to go over the passports, the social, the FOIA, notary presentments. So get it off for $275. We're trying to build people up. Thinkers are bankers. So if you miss out on this opportunity, it's not my fault. We're going to try to do this on a month-to-month basis until, TikTok go away, until they do whatever they do. So we're trying to do this more often to give people opportunity, because we need more people to start waking up. We need better case law. We need better understanding. We need better material. You need more confidence. We're not going over processes. We're going over information, over the source so that you can get guidance. So I'm advising y'all, go to the link tree and sign up. Go to the link tree. Make sure y'all have a computer. Make sure you have a notebook and pen, because it's going to be a lot of information. If you don't have any affidavits at all, you don't have no fee schedule, you don't have none of that documentation, tap into the class, because we are notaries and we'll be able to get your stuff updated and taken care of. We'll get it taken care of online. So fee schedules, affidavit of truth, notary presentments, we're going to go over the work. So if you know a notary in your area, you need better understanding, make sure you tap in and join the class. Keep it in the private. That's what we're going to talk. That's what it's all about, being in the private. You want to learn how to be under your business. You want to understand how to claim your interests.